Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we're back. Episode 6 of A Million Voices podcast. I had a bit of a 2-week break, but we're back at it today. And today, as you can tell, I'm not in my usual location. I thought it'd be fun to switch it up a little bit. And I feel like being in a certain location for certain conversations will actually help emphasize the convo. Today with me, I have my trainer, Nicholas Speciale, and we're here at Speciale Fitness. So do you want to introduce yourself a little bit to everybody?
Sure. So guys, I'm 22 years old. Funny enough, my birthday was just last week, and I own a fitness studio. This studio, once upon a time, was just somewhere that I used to work out, and now I've built it up to be now on Dragon's Den. So we've come a long way. That's not to say that I've hit my max, but it's a big accomplishment for me. Just to see how far I've been able to come. But I want to take it back just a little bit to the day when I was struggling, not only just in life, but also in my fitness. Myself was just like all of my other clients once upon a time that didn't know what to do, my problem was not to lose weight, it was actually to gain muscle. And I would work out 6 days a week, I would stuff myself with food, and nothing was ever working. And it wasn't until I had a huge surgery. This surgery was to remove my tonsils. I'm pretty sure you know about it. But long story short, I had my tonsils and my adenoids removed, and it went to a point where I was almost about to pass away. It got really serious, and I wasn't able to eat for a whole month. So during that time, I was literally just sipping on water, having soups, and I was literally dying. I needed food, or I needed something just to put into my system because I couldn't eat since the stitches ripped in my throat. And from that day forward, everything changed. I was not afraid to eat specific foods. Like, I was super picky. Now I'll put anything in my mouth. There are still a couple things like tomatoes I just can't eat.
Tomatoes, yes. Out of everything.
Tomatoes I still cannot.
Jeez.
But everything else I'm pretty good with now. And what I did is during that surgery time when I was recovering, I was reading books, I was watching YouTube videos, and this was only on fitness. So how can I bulk up? How can I become as strong as possible in the shortest amount of time? And within the next year, like, I'm pretty sure you can pop up a picture, but this is the transformation I was able to go through. And ever since that day, my life has changed. And I realized that if you put your mind towards something, it will become reality. Just like I wanted to go from 140 pounds to 170 pounds, very strong and super lean. I thought that was never to be possible until I saw that happen. And pretty much what I did is I just translated that into this business. I went from having one client, training them, getting them amazing results, to now owning a studio with almost 100 clients. So
wow,
it's a big process, but I'm just happy that I never gave up throughout the whole time. And as you know, especially running a business as well, there are hard times. And even in fitness, there's times when, let's just say, you go out on a vacation, or let's just say you go out for a dinner night with your friends. You're going to fall off, but it's not falling off that's going to get you to the goal. It's when you rebound and get back on track is what's going to give you the results that you want.
So would you say, like, mindset is probably like the biggest thing, even like after what you went through? And like,
Sure.
Obviously that was like a very extreme circumstance, and like, you know, you're here today and like you've come such a far way. I feel like a lot of people in those spots, if you're not mentally strong, you could get stuck.
For sure.
And I even like with any injury, like even in playing sports, if you don't have the mental like tenacity to keep going, you can just give up, right? So let's say in that perspective, what really kept you going? Like, what was like, okay, you know what, Nicholas, like, keep going, don't worry, like, it's gonna get better, etc.
It was honestly just start with why. And there's a book on it, you can read it, but simply it was, why am I getting to where I want to go?
Yeah.
Right? Because there's times when people are like, I just want to lose weight. Like, when you get to a point where you see a bunch of pastries in front of you, if you don't understand the reason why you're losing the weight, guess who's going to be indulging into those pastries?
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I had 500 calories left at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I could have decided to not eat that meal and be like, you know what, I'm full. But then I realized, I was like, you know what, I want to get big and strong to show not only everyone else, but myself that I can push through those limits.
Yeah.
And as you can see right there on my board, on my wall, mindset
I'll pop a picture up.
So mindset is everything. It pretty much shows that little cat.
Yeah.
And then in the reflection of the water, it's that big line.
Yeah.
And it honestly, that picture means 1,000 words. And the main thing that I took away from it is like, your mindset is everything, right? You can assume right now, for me, I was like struggling. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Something came up in my life. How am I going to deal with it?
Yeah.
I just thought of, do I have the mental toughness to fight through it?
Yeah.
And there's something that people always rely on, which is motivation.
Yeah.
How long can motivation last, right? Like once you start losing weight, you'll get to a point where you start to see the scale going down, right? That's motivation. But what happens is if you don't lose weight 1 week, right? Does that mean that you're going to lose the motivation? No.
True.
Most of the people do.
Yeah.
But what I try to coach people on is it's the discipline to stick with the same habits on a consistent basis, because your weight loss is never going to be like a straight line.
Yeah.
It's never going to be linear.
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
going to have times when you might gain 1 pound. There might be times when you might lose 5 pounds.
Right.
And most people, when they lose the 5 pounds, or let's just say for me, when I gain 5 clients, most people will just take it easy.
Yeah.
Right? Or like even when you lose 5 pounds, they're like, okay, you know what? I can have a cheat day.
Yeah.
The whole point of that 5 pounds of weight loss is to reflect on what you did last week, to create the same actions to do the week after.
Yeah.
Right? And that's when a coach is there to just make sure that you're on the right track and that you're not falling off, because a lot of people, that's what they struggle with, is they rely on motivation. When it gets to a point where they just can't handle it anymore, they fall off because they don't have the deeper message, the deeper meaning, and the discipline to focus on why they're doing it.
Yeah. And I feel like it's also they themselves don't even understand really why.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of people too, I feel like just want to lose weight or etc. And sometimes it's not even for themselves. It's like, how am I going to look on social media? How am I going to look to this
and
person?
that's fine.
Right?
Like,
but it's like understanding that.
Yeah.
It's not, I feel like if you do something, like you were saying, without understanding why, your motivation will get lost, your hustle will get lost, and your determination will get lost. It's consistently reminding yourself why that will keep your mindset strong. And what I can say is like, even just based off your studio and like what you've created here, when I came, it was besides like the 20-minute workout, which I'll get him to explain, but it was, and he'll go into this too, but the accountability, right? And you guys know I was an athlete, so I've been through a lot of coaches, I've been through a lot of gyms and a lot of trainers. And I can say like confidently, like the way he held me and like others accountable when it came to food, especially, and working out, of course, but like especially with nutrition, I didn't receive like really anywhere else. And even the way it was done, for example, like most people will tell you, you know, like don't eat chips, don't eat cupcakes, don't eat cake, whatever. But he finds a way to still allow you to have that sweet here or there, but still stay within your goals. Do you want to touch on a bit? Let's go first on like what makes Speciale Fitness
Unique.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah, special. I was going to say special.
So there's a lot of things. What I notice is that every single place out there, whether it's a gym, a fitness studio, they focus solely on the workouts. They don't focus on the client's results. I obviously have a 20-minute workout, which I don't even try to boost as much, because the 20-minute workout is just for you to get into the gym. But if you really want the results, it's not going to come from the workout. And I tell everyone this. Like, I spend thousands of dollars on these suits, but whether you wear them 6 days a week or you wear them none days, it's not going to change.
Yeah.
Because what the real problem is that people have is coaching and the accountability. In terms of coaching, I try to not give people like a structured and rigid diet.
Yep.
And the reason why is because everybody has different cultures. Everybody has different diets, such as like vegan, vegetarian. I kind of give it from a science perspective. And that's why I'm really passionate about nutrition, is because I look at it from both a psychology perspective, but also a science perspective.
Right.
My main concern is how many calories are you eating,
Right.
and what are those calories made up of? Most people, when they lose weight, what do? They starve themselves, or they just cut out food. Yes, that's the first perspective that you need to do, but there's also stage 2, and that's where what calories is it made up of?
Right.
There's carbs, there's fats, there's proteins. Right. Most people, they'll look at, let's just say, olive oil, and they're like, oh, it's probably like 10 calories, and this is something that we talked about.
Yeah.
People don't understand that 1 tablespoon of olive oil has almost like 150 calories.
Eye opener. I just want to point that out. Like when he told me that, I was like, what?
And
like,
to burn 150 calories is not easy. So like that little teaspoon and tablespoon that you're putting into your body, you're gonna have to go for at least like 5 walks around the block just to burn that little tablespoon off. So when people are saying, oh, I'm eating salads, and they're pouring a whole bunch of stuff, olive oil in their salad to make it healthier, really do they know that you can really have a burger and it will probably be less calories? And we look at it from a perspective as whether you're having ice cream at night or whether you're having rice, guess what? They're both getting converted into one thing, which is glucose. And again, I learned that from my science perspective, that it doesn't really matter what kind of carbs, what kind of fats you're eating, it's how much of it are you eating. And people struggle with that a lot. Then we can go into the perspective of protein and how that comes in. But the whole point is that we kind of coach you on learning about what you're eating. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I'm just going to have a slice of toast. But do you understand how many calories is in that slice of toast? Do you know how many carbs is in that slice of toast? And sometimes people just aren't aware of it. So having that nutrition app, which is understanding this slice of toast has 20 grams of carbs, and then seeing how much space you have left is really an eye-opener to say, if I close these 3 rings, I know for a fact that I'll be losing the weight. And it's true. 99% of the time will happen. The only time it doesn't happen is if you're dishonest with yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where I only accept clients that are willing to change because they want to change. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be cooking your meals for you. What I will do is I'll give you all the tools. And what I will do is I'll also give you the accountability.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is whenever you come in, I'll see how you're doing and we'll give you some feedback based off of how you're doing. If I don't see anything in your log, I can't really help you. And that's where we have to change either the coaching or the different types of ways to express it, because everybody needs some sort of tailored advice. And it's not a one size fits all, but I find like counting your calories is the best way to learn. Not to get the results, but at least to learn about what you're eating.
Yeah, and educate you too.
Yeah, exactly.
And even like the app he uses, it gives you like suggestions on what you can eat involving like certain foods. And the ring thing is really cool. It's like if you have an Apple Watch, like when you close your rings, it's that same idea, but for calories. Yeah. So like you literally see the ring go, you see when you're over, you're underneath, and like even just visualizing it, it makes you stop and think like, if you can have a chip, like I would think like, I have to put that in my app. Like, like what's that gonna do, you know? But even like your scanner, that was a big thing. I've never seen a scanner like this anywhere. Could just be me, but like
it's literally one of the only ones in actually Canada that have it. Like I remember when I wanted to order it, I'm like, can I see a demo of it? And they're like, we don't have any in the area. You're gonna have to. Even with this bike, like I had to just trust what was on the internet. Wow. But with the scanner, it's awesome because you can show me your log and it can be perfect. But then if I go in that room with you and we go over your scan, which is pretty much telling your muscle mass, your fat mass, and your measurements, if those aren't changing, then that gives me a perspective to see what else can we change, because obviously the diet is not working. So then what else we need to add is maybe the physical activity. Yeah. Maybe you're just sedentary all day. Yeah. So you're eating a good amount or you're eating less calories, but because you're not moving, you're not burning off those calories that you assumed to be putting, to also be burning off calories. Yeah. So that's something that we'll also work on. I think that's in a combination with the training is super important, because otherwise I myself as a coach don't know how your progress is. Yep. Because then after I'm just looking at you and I'm saying, oh, that shirt looks smaller. Yeah. Right. But when I see the actual measurements, like your waist is 32.2 this week and last week it was 33. Yeah. Good job. You lost 0.8 inches. Yeah. And it gives me a better perspective on my end, how I can better coach the client, because if they're adding in all their food, but their scan isn't changing, I got to switch it up. Yep.
And it all works hand in hand too. And like, it's way more precise than like when you go and, you know, they measure your arm with like
something
a tape
I used
measure.
to do like 2 years ago.
It's like so much more precise.
And it's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Within what, 30 seconds?
Yeah. We literally do it before the workout or after. Yeah. And that with the nutrition, with the workout, like you can't lie. Like he'll know.
But that's when the results come. And like a coach is there not to sugarcoat things, but to tell you straight up. Yeah. And if you don't want to hear that, maybe you're just not ready to get it. Obviously, as a coach, you have to understand the psychology of the person itself. Yeah. And you can't just be like, you suck. You're not eating the right foods. You got to understand, why aren't they eating the right foods? Yeah. What foods maybe don't they know that they should be eating? Yeah. What foods do they know that maybe is too much that we have to take away? So there's a lot of things that we have to understand as coaches, just to ensure that they're learning and they're also starting to implement, because you can teach everybody everything, but if they're not implementing the things that they know, that they need to know and need to do, it's honestly just a waste of time. And that's the biggest struggle as a coach, is to just get them to do the things that they should be doing, that they know that they need to do, that they're just not doing. Yeah.
And I feel like it's also and why I think accountability is so big too, is because with anything in life, like at the end of the day, you know, someone can give you everything you need to like lose weight, get smarter, run a business, whatever. But unless you set your mind to it, which goes back to the why, it's like then you're not gonna do it. Or you're only gonna get so far. And I remember like even when I came in for my trial session, like he asked me like, why did you come? You know, like why are you here? And I think that's so important because all that and like he can like bust his ass giving you everything he can. But if you don't have that mindset, then one, not waste your time, but waste your own time,
exactly.
you know? But what I also think is like really cool about here, besides like, you know, all the accountability aspect, which I was telling you guys, like I've never really seen that anywhere else, is it's like a community. Like you can walk in and literally train with people you've never met and it's not awkward. Like no one's staring at you. It's a small group. It's like only 3 people at a time, which for me, I'm someone that I love one-on-one. So even like 3-on-1, huge, because they can focus on like what you're doing, attention to detail. And even though it's 20 minutes, like you guys are on it. Like and there's no time to waste too, right? But the community aspect is big, especially for, I find, and I was actually just telling him this before the podcast, but like for women mostly, because I know me, like I was an athlete. So I'll walk into a gym and I can pick up a weight. One, I know what I'm doing because I've been trained, but 2, it's like, I'm not thinking about who's looking at me, who's judging me. Oh, I'm only grabbing 10 pounds instead of like 20 or whatever. But there's a lot of people, if they've never been to the gym and now they have to break through that barrier of like, oh my God, I'm going in this gym. There's all these like gym rats. All these people know what they're doing. 1, you can get injured if you don't know what you're doing. So I don't suggest that. But 2, it's like the mental aspect of it where it's here, you walk in, it's like a nice space, not a lot of people, and everybody's welcoming. Like I don't think you have, or that I've seen any clients that are like, you know, like come in, don't talk to anybody. Like it's the community you create as well, which makes a big difference because it actually gives you the motivation. Like you'll be in a workout, the people beside you will be like, let's go, you know, like hustle through it. So like kudos to you on that. That's like really hard to do.
Like
and
for a trainer, for example, Danielle, she has no kinesiology background. She obviously, her page is super amazing, but she wasn't certified before working here.
Right.
And the number one thing that I picked up on her is that she was friendly. She was very welcoming and she understood exercises. Those are the 3 big values that I want out of a trainer. You can be the most educated person in the world. You can have an A+ on 4th year kin courses. If you cannot be welcoming, understand how to train people in a group environment and be friendly with the way that you approach people, I cannot hire you and you cannot be a part of this association because that's what we're built on. We're built on a community. We're built on relationships. We're built on everyone working towards a certain goal, which is bettering themselves. Whether that's losing weight, whether that's gaining weight, whether that's not having enough time to work out. Like everyone is trying to better themselves, and that was our main focus, is getting the results, but also in a friendly way.
Right?
For like sure. We're not going to be hard on you because let's just say you had a bad weekend. Right? We're going to understand why you had a bad weekend. Right? And maybe we can focus on how we can improve that weekend. So that next time that weekend comes, we'll tailor it to ways that you can improve. Even with clients, like as you know, we do 3-on-1s, soon to be 4-on-1s. And the main thing is like everybody's training at their own fitness level. For you are a huge athlete. And you're working out with 2 people that are in their 50s. Wasn't the workout just as effective as if it was by itself?
Literally. And the best part is like, they were motivating me, but the same way I was motivating them. Like, I don't know, it just works. And that was also what I found really cool is like, and why a big reason I loved one-on-one was because I don't really like working out or doing things. It's hard when someone's not at your level or you're not at their level, right? So this really allows it to be tailored to you. And like, we were all doing the same base exercise, but because the suits are set differently, like we were all feeling the same pain, like and it was just as effective, you know. So
like there's really only so many exercises you can do, right? There's the base exercises. You can always switch it up, like doing like maybe goblet squats, back squats, but overall a squat's a squat. A bicep curl's a bicep curl. Tricep push down's a tricep push down. Those exercises aren't going to change, but in order to keep leveling up and improving yourself, it's the progressive overload that needs to change. And what we do when we train you is we reach that highest peak so that you keep progressing. And whether you're a complete athlete or you're, let's just say a mom, we can tailor that intensity to your own fitness level. And that's why you are getting just as great of a workout compared to the person beside you. But now if we take it back to, let's just say a gym, let's just say you guys are all doing the same exercises, but now we got to spend 2 minutes grabbing the heavy weight and putting it on your bar.
Yeah.
And then after, because the next person that's coming in, we now got to take that weight and take it off and then put their weight on.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to do back in the day. Like I spent almost like 5 to 10 minutes, and that's why the workouts used to be an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I used to spend so much time taking off the weight, putting on the new weight for the next person. And I would, like, let's just say that weight was too light.
Yeah.
Then we had to spend more time adding more weight. Whereas if it's too easy or it's too easy, all we would do as trainers is literally click a couple buttons, increase the intensity. That's it.
Literally, like, by the time you breathe, your intensity's up.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we're going, you know.
So it's like going from 5 pounds to 7 pounds.
Yeah.
Right? Like instead of twisting off or whatever the way you used to train, it's within a second, click a button, and your intensities are now at, let's just say, from 5 pounds to 7 pounds.
And it's efficient.
Right? Because we're able to do that all within 20 minutes, and you're able to get a sweat in within, like, what, 5 minutes people are sweating?
Literally.
Because it gets right into it. There's no, like, there's a little bit of a warm-up, but within the first couple exercises, you're already pretty fatigued, and that's why after 20 minutes, like, you can try to do an extra 20 minutes, but good luck.
I wouldn't recommend it.
I would not recommend it, especially if us as trainers, like, really push you to the limits.
Yeah. My last class, I got pushed. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Danielle pushed me.
Yeah.
But it was good. It was good. I loved it. Let's get into Dragon's Den. I was just looking at your certificate there.
Yeah.
That's huge. Like, I don't know, me and my friends used to watch Dragon's Den, like, past few years, like, just binge it. Then this guy posts, going on Dragon's Den. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So you want to just explain a little bit, like, you don't have to go into too much detail, but, like, you know, the process, what made you decide to go on.
Yeah. So same thing like you said, I was a huge advocate of watching Shark Tank for, like, the longest time. I got to the point where I literally watched every single episode that I was like, what else do I watch?
Binge
I want to know more.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, people are watching, like, Stranger Things, and I'm over here just, like, studying pitches. Yeah. And then there was a point where I was like, I don't have any more Shark Tank episodes to watch. And I found out that there's one in Canada called Dragon's Den.
Right.
So I started watching those. And one day it was just like, apply now to be on season 17. So I was like, why not?
Yeah.
This was my business was like 20 clients. It was probably around the time that you came.
All right.
And I was like, screw it, why not? Let me just
Yeah.
apply. Put in all my information, told them about my business, gave them the unique selling proposition, which was the suits. And just from that, I get an email back a couple days later saying, we want you for a formal interview and to pitch your idea to the producers.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this email right?
Yeah.
I'm like,
is that my email address?
Are you sure you sent it to the right email? So then after I pitched it to them, and there was like around 1,000 people that got that invitation. So I was like, okay, I'm not anything special. But I pitched it to them, and I was wearing the suits, and the producers loved it. A couple months later, they're like, Nicholas, sorry we didn't get you on the show, but you're on standby.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm probably not going to be on, but whatever. They probably tell us to everyone.
Yeah.
The last day of shooting, the night before, and this is the point where, like, it's the last day, so I'm like, okay, whatever, I lost my chance.
Yeah.
They emailed me at 7 p.m. saying that the next morning I have a spot to be on Dragon's Den. And you should have saw my reaction. I see that email, and I was, like, yelling for at least an hour. Like,
the adrenaline kicked in.
First off, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I could calm down, I'm like, I think I just have I'm going to be on TV.
Yeah.
So I was like, this has to be wrong. I literally called the producer. I'm like, are you sure you sent me the right email?
Is this fraud?
Yeah, like, I couldn't believe it because I'm like, there's thousands of people that apply. Like, there's no way that they're just going to get some guy running a gym business in his basement.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, they just loved it. So they're like, we're going to have Robert, Michelle, and Wes all do the workout. Be prepared, go over your pitch, know your numbers, stuff like that. Me, myself, I was already kind of shook because I wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Like, they put me on
People
standby.
probably spend months for this thing, and you're like, I got less than 24 hours.
Yeah. So she's like, what are you going to be preparing? What are you going to be bringing? Come in early. And, like, I didn't have my haircut done. I was like, my accountant, I had no clue.
Yeah.
I was talking with my mentor all within the same night, like, all trying to prepare what to say, how to say it, what numbers to say. Like, it was just a whole bunch of a mess. But anyway, worked out well. The funny part is when I was there, as you probably know, Manjeet.
Yeah.
So I walk up. There's 2 takes that you got to do. The first take, I walk in, and all of them are like, oh, I can't wait till Manjeet rips them apart.
Yeah. She scares me.
Yeah, she scared me when I used to watch it. But now me hearing those people say it on TV live,
you were like,
when I was there, I was like, I am not going to come back. So I had to walk out.
Okay.
And then I had to walk back in. But this second time, I said my pitch. After the pitch, they obviously started to like come down on me.
Yeah.
Knowing the numbers, knowing the business model. I can't really say if I got the deal or not.
Well, obviously, yeah.
But all I was really happy about was when Michelle and Wes did the workout, they loved it.
Okay.
And that was my, first off, like whether I got the deal or not,
Yeah.
I'm just already happy enough as it is for the Dragons, which
Yeah.
are like really big workout enthusiasts, to love the workout.
Yep.
Because that just shows that like an authority
Yeah.
believes in this type of workout. And that was my biggest problem is like not enough people believe in this type of workout.
Yeah.
First off, they don't understand the science with it, but two, it's like they think it's a fad.
Yeah.
The problem is like when you do understand the science and when you do actually put on the suit like you did yourself, like
Yeah.
you will feel your muscles sore.
Literally.
You will feel your muscles like strengthening and growing.
Yeah.
And I was just happy that they were able to try it. And the best part is Michelle calls me like a day later. And she's like, Nicholas, I love that workout so much. I need to come in for another one. And I was like, say less. I'm like, where do you
I'll
want
be
to meet?
there.
She's like, downtown tomorrow morning at 7. I'm like, I'm used to like waking up out of my bed in like the next 5 minutes starting the session. Now I had to travel all the way downtown, but it was worth it because I had a little conversation with her, just kind of understanding her lifestyle. And what she said to me is like, you got to be okay with not making money for the first 7 years of business. Like her herself took 7 years to get her business off the ground.
Yeah.
Now she's obviously like a serial entrepreneur on Dragon's Den, taking 5 days to answer my messages. But
Michelle, if you're watching the pod,
answer your phone.
Answer your phone.
But long story short, like she obviously has bigger and better things to do.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I even had a chance to meet her and train her.
Yeah.
And be on the show. So that will be coming out sometime this fall. And
Everybody watch.
I can't wait to actually see what they're actually putting into that because it was like an hour and a half. I was speaking with them for an hour and a half. Like it was
And
long.
they only showed like 20 minutes.
Not
or
even
whatever.
10. So they cut it down a lot.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm curious to see what they're going to put on,
That
what
would be
parts they're
cool.
going to embarrass.
You
me
already
on.
know everyone here is just going to be... You should have a viewing party.
I know.
That would be sick.
Because like to be honest, I don't even know what it's going to look like. I don't even know
Exactly.
what it's going to air.
So you should have a viewing party.
My parents don't know if I got the deal. My brothers don't know if I got, like no one, not even my girlfriend. I didn't tell anyone.
So
the only person I told is my accountant, and everyone else is just waiting to see.
Everyone's just chilling.
And like, first off, I signed an NDA, which means like I can't tell
Yeah.
anybody. But more than that, I actually didn't want to tell anyone because I want people to actually watch it.
Yeah.
And I want people to like feel the suspense, probably just
And
like
see
I
them
will.
looking and writing and like the questions they ask you.
I just hope
But-
that they didn't make a fool out of me, which who
No.
knows. 90% of the time they always screw things up, but I was really lucky when I was on. Like they were relatively nice.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's a start. That's a start.
like from being with 5-6 dragons in front of your face and pitching at a 22-year-old, like I was already expecting them to just like go home, like you're a waste of time. But we'll
Well,
find out.
I guess we're going to see. Stay tuned for that episode. That's huge. Like, but you must have knew what you were doing considering you binged Shark Tank, like, roughly. I know it's nerve-wracking, but
Yeah.
you must know, like, okay, I have to have these numbers.
Yeah,
or do
like
they tell you, like,
they kind of
hey,
give you a breakdown as
Okay,
to like what
okay.
to have an idea of what they're going to be asking, but it's not like we're going to ask this question, then this question, and this question. You're going to have to answer for this question.
Yeah.
Like they're looking at the business model and they're just like asking you based
the
off
spot.
of what you say.
Yeah,
And that's something that I just should have prepared a little bit more, but again,
that's fine. You had less than 24 hours. Like,
what do you expect me to put
Yeah.
together a whole business plan in the matter of
No,
24
you can't.
hours? Like people take years for that. So
literally.
I was just glad that I was on it and they saw
yeah. And
what
even,
the
like,
workout's about.
what's cool about those shows is kind of like American Idol too, right? Like, obviously we don't know how it went, but that's still exposure for you. So everyone who's watching Dragon's Den or is binging it, let's say, will see your workout, you know? And even if it's maybe not them, someone's going to pick up the phone and call you, right? Because it's intriguing. So
sure.
I think that's really cool. And, like, that's so sick you got to experience that. For sure a big life lesson too, you know? So that's all the questions I really got for you. But there's one final question. What's something you would tell your younger self?
I would say never give up. And what I mean by that is you guys probably don't understand. Like everyone sees the success and the growth that has happened, but
Yeah.
no one sees what's underneath the iceberg. Like the dedication, the hustle, the knowledge that I had to acquire. Like guys, I'm only 22. I only had and I didn't even take a business
You know, I didn't know
course.
that, by the way, till your birthday.
Yeah.
I thought you were older.
Wow.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
So
Continue.
like I technically never really had any formal business education.
Mm-hmm.
So for me to like learn, I'm I'm getting paid to learn, and that's what I love. Is like, I'm gonna screw up. I'm gonna lose clients. I'm gonna say something I shouldn't have said. But these are just learning behaviors that I'm gonna acquire.
Yeah.
So that one day it will all pay off. And I think like persistence is like number one. Is like when you lose a client, when you don't get a client results, when let's just say I make a bad purchase and spend like $2,000 on a piece of equipment, that whatever the case may be, it's always pushing past the limits.
Yep.
Because everybody has a limit that they believe, and once you can just level that up and be like, there's so much more room to grow, that's when you can really get whatever you want out of life. Whether that's me gaining 40 pounds in a year, or whether that's me getting a business from one client to 100. Like, it's just always pushing through the hard parts, and when you are struggling, that's when the growth comes the most.
Yep. I vibe with that. Yeah, you guys, I've spoke about that a lot too. So I agree with that. And like, just to add, running a business and starting a business, like, you don't really understand it until you do it.
And I hear so many of my friends, and they're like, I want to start a business. Like,
it's nothing.
What should I do? Like, give me some advice. I'm like, go watch Alex Hormozi for freaking 45 days, and then maybe you'll like understand the gist of it. Like, I've been studying constantly. Like, when my friends are out, I'm reading books. Yeah. When my friends are on vacation, I'm like writing a business plan. Like, there's so much, and this is again with the iceberg. Like, don't just look at people's success. Understand like what they had to do to get to that success. Yep. Right. And like, there's so many nights when I was up till 3 a.m. and like, it's not always going to be productive work. Yeah. Because you don't even know what productive work is.
It's true. You're just trying to figure it out.
You're just trying to figure it out. And that's what everyone just needs to understand is like, we're all here just to figure it out and to hopefully something work. Yeah. And I'm glad enough that I've come this far, and like this is sometimes people say like, how are you not content? It's just like, I'm in a growth mindset. I don't think I'll ever be content.
Which is good. You need that, especially as an entrepreneur.
Otherwise, and this is again, like, you're either growing or you're dying. Yeah. Right? Like, true. There's no such thing as like being stable. Yeah. Because everybody that's stable is technically actually dying. Like, look at inflation.
Literally though.
That's a whole nother topic.
Literally though.
Yeah, you got to be continuing to level up, whether it's adding new features. Like, at first in this business, I was just like training clients with weights. Yeah. Then I was like, how can I level that up? Get the suits. Yeah. And then I was like, the suits isn't enough. How can I level that up? Get the nutrition up. Yeah. And I was like, how can I level that up? Get the scanner to do the assessments. How can I level that up? Acquire the coaching. Yeah. Right? And then it's just like
the bike.
Yeah. And then you get the bike. So like, there's a lot of things of building one on top of another. And now, as you know, I'm going to be moving into a studio. So
yeah. That's exciting. Yeah.
And again, like, people are like, why don't you stay in the basement? It's like,
you want to grow.
I want to grow. Yeah. Right. And being in this, I would call it shoebox, is like not what I want out of life. And who knows, I might make a bad mistake, but again, that's a learning lesson.
Yeah. It's a learning curve. Right. Entrepreneurship is all about learning, right?
And the last thing, like, to go off of never giving up is like, if you never give up, you never lose. Yeah. Right. Fair. Because the only day that you actually lose is when you give up.
Yeah. And you accept failure.
And you can, and the sky's the limit. Whether the sky is my basement or the sky is opening 100 studios all over the country, it's like, there is no limit. Yep. As long as you just don't give up and you continue progressing forward.
I agree. Well, you have a great mindset.
It did not happen overnight. 2 people I would recommend. I don't know if they're paid or not, but the Mindset Mentor was a huge advocate of mine. I don't know if you listened to him. No.
But I'll take a check now.
Like, that's where I got my mindset from. And then the business knowledge was all Alex Hormozi. Okay. So those are just 2 of my mentors that I always look up to. Again, that's only if you really want to level up and grow, but that's what worked for me. So maybe that'll work for you guys.
I will appreciate that. Yeah. You have a great mindset, obviously, when it comes to business and just everything you've been through. Thanks for taking the time on coming on the pod.
No worries. I'm glad that you had me, and hopefully one person could learn from something that we said. And if you guys ever need some fitness advice, let me know. I can help you out. And
yeah, hit him up. I'll put the tag, his Instagram handle, at the bottom, but it's Speciale Fitness. Yeah. If you can't remember that, just look at the sign behind us, literally this entire video. Yeah. Guys, like, subscribe, follow, give him a follow, hit him up for any fitness questions. Also, feedback, I say that's big. I'm always open to feedback for me or for him. For sure. So let us know, hit either of us up in the DMs, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Perfect.